Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. With a packed audience, we're going to be starting slightly earlier than we expected, so we'll be starting at 6:45. If anybody wants a brew, there's some brews going cold over here. There's biscuits. You don't want to leave them all for us afterwards. So please come and get yourself a brew and a biscuit, and we'll be starting shortly. Thank you.
Right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, councillors and honoured guests. Welcome to the 2022 annual town meeting in Pride of Barnoldswick Awards. It was with some trepidation when I accepted the task of responsibility of Chairman of Barnoldswick Town Council. And I did so at a time when social distancing regulations were introduced as part of COVID-19. This meant that gatherings were restricted to 6 people outdoors, 2 households only, which consigned the entire council operation to a strange and almost passive function. By any measure, the COVID pandemic has dominated all of our lives for the last 2 years. It's influenced the way we work, the way we play, and the way we rest. Has far exceeded anything we could have foreseen when we first entered lockdown in March 2 years ago. However, I do not want this to dominate this report to the Council. Suffice to say, we learned new ways of fulfilling our duties through Zoom and Teams meetings, and we were able to assist the local townsfolk and businesses through the worst of the pandemic with provision and supply of face masks, antibacterial gels, dispensers, safety signage and other PPE. Elsewhere in the last 2 years have been significant changes affecting the livelihood of our townsfolk. The 3 major employees have suffered mixed fortunes, which greatly affect the survival and the vibrancy of our trade and commerce. Hope Technology, although a specialist component supplier, has strengthened its position within the cycling sector, and the resurgence of cycling as a competitive sport and more widely as a keep fit participation activity. Demand is high, the reputation of Hope Technology continues to expand, and the future looks bright. Staycations and the restrictions on international travel gave a welcome boost to Barnoldswick's second largest employer, Silent Night, who have seen sales expand dramatically as the demand for beds needed for hotels and the ever-expanding holiday let market grew rapidly. Employment security has been maintained and they're experiencing a steady growth. Mixed fortunes with our largest employer, Rolls-Royce, which first generated shock, then dismay, and for many months of great anxiety. The downturn in the aviation industry, international travel restrictions, and head office instigated efficiency review cast a long shadow over the future of Barnoldswick factories, the closure of which would have been a bitter pill to swallow, recognising its importance as an employer and essential part of our heritage. More recent negotiations, however, have identified a future role for Barnoldswick as the workforce transitions from aviation to renewable energy. Currently, there's a commitment from the company to keep the workforce in employment, and there is now at least light at the end of the tunnel. We continue to work positively to ensure our long-standing association with Rolls-Royce provides high-skill employment well into the future. Within the town itself, refurbishment and regeneration of the public open spaces continues. Old Gormless, our Queen Victoria Jubilee horse trough, has been relocated to its new location just adjacent to the bus station, and at long last the lighting feature has been restored and work is now complete. Relocation of the flagpole from the town square to a site adjacent to the War Memorial is now complete, and this has opened a whole new range of possibilities when considering the organisation of the Remembrance Day service and parade. By far the largest public works project the council has undertaken in the last decades has been the refurbishment of the town square area. This work is now virtually complete, and we hope that the larger open space, free from the constraints of Old Gormless and the flagpole, will provide a more practical, aesthetically pleasing venue for our events programme. Early in the final stages of refurbishment, cafe-style tables and chairs were provided by the council, which proved a huge success, and we hope we can look forward to a long, hot summer with European-style cafe culture to boost our town centre footfall. The creativity of the events team has not been blunted by the pandemic. As restrictions were eased, we began planning for a series of events. Old favourites like Bots, The Beach, Switch on Saturday are now being supplemented with new and original specials such as Barlick and Wonderland, the Festival of Fire and Ice, and a rebranded Pie Festival. Monthly markets are under development, and all I can say is watch this space. I believe that despite the trials and tribulations of COVID, we as a council, a township and community have emerged stronger than before. Our community spirit is building once again, and we're prepared to embrace the future with confidence. Before I close, there are people who I think deserve my thanks as chairman of the council. Firstly, in terms of civic pride, the Barnoldswick Bloom Group deserve a special mention. Pandemic or not, through rain, hail and shine, they continue to keep our town as litter-free as possible and bright and cheerful with the work they do on the floral displays and the flower beds. They also keep adding to the list of accolades they have earned for the town in Royal Horticulture Society Awards. Secondly, I'd like to thank my fellow councillors for their support during my term in office. It has been the council of old, experienced colleagues or the bright new ideas and enthusiasm of the new members of council. All have contributed to the learning curve and to the achievements we have completed together. A special thank you must go individually to Jo Geldard, the Clerk of the Town Council and responsible financial officer. It is by her skill and her dedication that we as councillors are shielded from the more mundane and uncomfortable responsibilities. And finally, I would like to say a huge thank you to the people of Barnoldswick. It is your involvement and your feedback and your support that makes small triumphs into the mountain of civic pride, making our town such a great place to live, work and play. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll now move on to the award of the Pride of Barnoldswick Awards, and we've got a lot of awards tonight because we didn't have an awards event last year, and we'll ask people to come up in small groups, and if you could come up by the steps on your right, yes, and in order, Mike, in order. I will read out people's names and organisations, and we'll bring the people up. So if people can come up by the steps to your right, and then come down by the steps that are on your left, and that should flow. So Chairman of Barnoldswick Town Council, Mike Whittingham, is going to present the awards. Hopefully you'll get the right certificate, because our clerk, Jo Geldard, is hiding at the far end so that they're all presenting it in order. So all we require is for you lot to behave yourselves. Right, so I am going to read out a set of 3 names, and if you could make your way in the prescribed order, that would be absolutely fantastic. The first award is to Hilary Barrett, and it's for her work with the Royal British Legion Poppy Appeal. And we have got a joint award for instigating last year's Scarecrow Festival to Heather Sheldrick and Elaine Rose. The next awards, and I'm not quite sure who's going to appear now, because it's the Barlett Yarn Fairies, and we're not quite sure if they only come out at night and they're a secretive organisation. And so they are masked, they are hiding their identities. And their award is for creating knitted delights on Barnoldswick's post boxes and other street furniture. Our next set of awards we have got for Nathan Brown, and this was for excellent service during the pandemic's lockdowns. Debbie Wilkinson for her work with young homeless people, and Artisan Bakers for inventive working and keeping going during COVID. Can I ask, are any of those people here? Yes, we have. Thank you. I should mention that the awards are for the first time being live streamed. So if you miss anything, you can always catch up on YouTube. It'll be there. Awards are for John Beckley for keeping people amused during COVID, not least Melissa. John, are you here? He's good. I can see him struggling to the front. Tony Whitley Hanson for running Barnoldswick Talk, and I know that Tony is watching online. She's unwell and unable to be here tonight. And then the further award, and again, I don't know how many people are going to come up for this one. So, West Craven Warrior Juniors for going above and beyond with Santa deliveries. Right, red card, gone down the wrong steps. Actually, I don't know whether they have red cards in rugby. Sin bins. Right, Donna Guy for running West Craven High School Memories. Sally Lambert and Carolyn Wright for sewing scrubs during COVID. And, well, I'll call it a draw at that one. So, I've seen Sally. The next awards are for Lorna Smith, or Smythe, if I apologise if I've got the incorrect pronunciation. And this is for saving life by giving CPR. Okay. James and Leanne Barrett for entertaining people during COVID. Nobby Smith for running Nobby's Feathered Friends and rescuing birds. And Malcolm Holt for sustained litter picking activities. The next award is for Cravenside, and we have 3 care homes that we're going to give awards to. Again, I'm not sure how many representatives will be coming up, so I'll do them one at a time. So Cravenside for working under extreme circumstances during the pandemic. Briarcliff Lodge for working again under extreme circumstances during the pandemic. And St Andrew's House Our next couple of awards for Sarah White for outstanding leadership and her work during the pandemic, and Lois Shaw for her litter picking activities. We're returning to the rugby pitch now. We've got awards for Alex and Tony Wilson and for Gary Lancaster for all their work with the rugby club. Geoffrey Pearson for his work with the Independent Methodist Church, the New Ship. West Craven Food Bank for their work providing food to those most in need. And the Cots Food Bank for their work doing the same. Our next set of awards for Alison Sauer for her work with guides and, from a town council perspective, organising Santa Grotto wrapping. Andrew Dean for his foster caring work, and KL Fitness, it says for his energy and enthusiasm and keeping people going during COVID. This is Kyle. I'm not sure if he's here. Yeah. Kyle's doing a long walk. But it's very appropriate looking at fitness. We've got 2 awards now for sets of staff at 2 pharmacies, for the Well Pharmacy and for Whitworth's, for serving the community during COVID. The next award is for Jonathan Dickin, and this is for writing My Basket Full of Happiness. Jonathan, are you here? No. Bernie, Anthony Burniston, for his quizzes during COVID lockdown. And Brian Hudson for 40 years of service to the community with the Fire and Rescue Service. Thank you. The next award is for the organisers of the Battle for Barnoldswick Save Our Site Rolls-Royce campaign. Is there anybody here? Screw. Thank you. We're coming to the end of the awards, and this next award is a very, very, very difficult award, and it's for someone that we've all loved, for his lifetime love of music, enriching Barnoldswick with his creativity and entertaining us all with his talent from an early age. Someone who was taken far, far too early. A posthumous award for Thomas Hargreaves. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't want to end on a sad note, so we have one final award which will come as a surprise to the recipient, and our final award is for our clerk to Barnoldswick Town Council, Joe Gelderd. Joe was nominated and refused to accept the award, but I think the chairman of the town council thought that she couldn't do aught about it if we did it. The award is for being Barnoldswick's miracle worker and her unstinting attention to detail, achieving clear audits for the last umpteen years, and really doing the work of 6 people. So a big round of applause for Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the Pride of Barnoldswick Awards part of the annual town meeting. That brings us to an end of that, and I'm going to hand back to the chairman of Barnoldswick Town Council, Mike Whittingham, and then we're going to go through the annual town meeting stuff. And if anybody wants to leave at this point, they're very, very welcome, but you can stay if you want. So I think we've got a 5-minute adjournment. But you're very welcome. As I say, you don't have to rush off. ladies and gentlemen, if anybody would like to carry on with the annual town meeting, we'll have a little huddle at the front. I can see dedicated town councillors coming along here, and we may have a very speedy rest of the meeting. Can we thank everybody who's watched the live stream on YouTube? And thank you very much for attending in the ether. We're going to end the live stream now before we do the formal business, because a lot of that is boring. We have a meeting next Wednesday of the full town council meeting, and again that will be live streamed, and I'm sure it'll be a lively event and extremely enjoyable for all. Thank you very much for watching the YouTube, watching the Pride of Barnoldswick, and thank you to all the recipients and everybody that turned out tonight in person on the town square. Thank you and good night.